So thank you, Jeff. Awesomely interesting speak. So makes it super easy for the next speaker. So he's realizing I don't have chocolates for the organizers. I don't have chocolates for the audience. I don't have booze for the audience. So I'm just a total loser from the beginning. I'm not a professional speaker, but we can still do a little, as Jeff mentioned, rating the speakers. So why don't we do that for Jeff now, right? Who, many of you, is going to start a business now after Jeff speak? Well, I would do in a minute. Wasn't he inspiring? Yeah. Think differently. What's to lose? Nothing. So hands up. So how many are you as actually entrepreneurs? Because I tried to watch when Jeff asked and aspiring, entrepreneurs. Techies, meaning you do some kind of understanding of tech-related stuff. Okay, that's a good. Then I will be very clear on any tech terms. So as Anders kindly introduced me, I'll take a more, it'll be a lot of repetition, which is great. So now it's a perfect segue. Jeff's done all about the storytelling, being different, be remembered, and so I can just move forward on that, so we all get to go for a coffee break. But, so I'll take more of a, like if you're doing a startup, when you're thinking, why is that the whole storytelling important? Is, specifically you three people who do some tech stuff, so I went all wild on this, a thought leader, so I do a tech internet startups. Do I have to think about the marketing and launching, and oh my God, I just want to push code. And when I'm done with it, then it's time to think about all the things that Jeff mentioned. That's what you think. But, so then I thought about it in a bigger picture, so what is the intersection of storytelling, inbound marketing, and growth hacking? And there's, if you think, or not think, listen carefully, there should be like a red thread. And you hear me say things like culture and hiring. And if you get that, then we'll probably, hopefully get to the intersection that I was thinking of with this speech when I was invited kindly to come over. This is actually my second time in Tallinn. I was here last year with SeedCamp, and it's a lot of great startups, and I got this awesome grant tour today at Garage 48 Hub, and so I'm super excited to be here. And since I'm Finn, it's also super great because I get off the plane, I can start speaking Finnish, I can buy my Fatser chocolates, because I'm a chocoholic, so you did very well, Jeff. And then I can have my Karelian pies with egg butter and breakfast, so it's like, you already sold me in here. So, the agenda today is, it works, it's amazing. So the marketing landscape, it's not like, just the email and all the other direct marketing stuff. It's totally changed. So I'll go through shortly, that. Storytelling, everything Jeff said. So why is it important for startups? Why does that matter? Inbound marketing, nice word. Why is it startup's best friend? It's a very buzzword, but there's some real things behind it. And then the growth hacking, even bigger buzzword. And what's got that to do with marketing? Because there's also supposed to be a connection. So this is the problem, with startups you say, so that's it. And now that it's a great artist, Gaping Void, you should all follow him also on Twitter, and he writes books and makes, exactly, he's being personal, thinking differently. It's drawings on the back of the business cards. That's how he started. So about the world's best business cards and stuff, great segue. So this is one of his, and I didn't work. He said, we're now at 7 billion, so it's not 6 billion anymore. And so welcome to the city that nobody cares, gives you nobody. You have a lovely startup. So your biggest hurdle is because, fighting the indifference. Exactly all those examples that Jeff mentioned, because you're in a big ground, who cares about you, my lovely baby, I don't, how do you make those moments and, like me, ooh, aha, wow, I need this. Because there's so many of you now. So this is the marketing landscape. It's a neon jungle. So it's not just about the traditional media, being AdWords, email, search engine marketing that you all now, guerrilla marketing and social media marketing. There's actually Facebook Marketing Bible. It's just, it's a site. Oh, sorry. I can press the red button. See what happened. Okay, and now I do that again. Cool. Wow. And then, but then we get to the viral marketing and all those videos you do and all this stuff. How do you make that? Was just like, the latest LinkedIn 80,000 people retweeted the, hey, you're one of the most viewed profiles. I mean, all those things, all the Harlem Shuffle things. I don't know if you've seen videos. So that's the whole viral content marketing, app marketing. Now you have apps. Now everything is online. You cloud-based, and then you just have API, application program interface, an easy way for different programs and services to talk to each other. So for the non-techies. And that's also, it's not just marketing, because when you can easily, when you have your API, then you can have other services building on top of your service, which means that they will be doing your marketing. And it's also a new revenue stream, because then you can have other people's building on this top and doing, and then you provide the API. Just like Twitter and everything, you pay for those things. So APIs are very good. App marketing. Last I checked, there's over 30 services helping you with app marketing in itself. So now you have a lot of apps, but then you have services to help you market apps. So it's just like influence marketing. What's your cloud score? What's your peer index? How do you reach those influencers in your own product or the product space? We have Kickstarter. There are also services helping you with Kickstarter marketing if you do a crowdfunding project, if you can't get funding. Does that work? And then there's the customer service that's becoming new marketing, just like Zappos, the online shoe sales. It's like they don't do any marketing. They just have the world's best and happiest customer service, and people love it. So anyway, it's many things to think about. And this is a nice figure. 0.5% of fans in, if you have fans in Facebook, I'm talking about actually brands. So you can get likes, but that's not how likely they will be talking about your brand. And now there's also the whole, because this is what Facebook is. You're stepping into people's living rooms and they want to talk about other stuff. They don't want to talk about your brand. They're going to talk about the other things. So you can't just walk in people's lives and say, hey, look at me, listen by my brand here. I said, no, I just want to watch TV and I want to talk to my friends, all the other stuff. So, and now also Facebook, the great platform with biggest number of users, but they're also doing the paid. You have to be paying now to get your content seen. How do you fight that? That's even nicer figure. It's 1 in a million. Talk about YouTube videos, and I don't know. That's the chance you get, you person can see, that your content gets seen on YouTube. 1 in a million. It's, getting to the lottery thing, Even if you have a couple, you can have so many millions of views, but there's so many more people. So you need to know who you're targeting. And talk about apps. That was almost 1 million. I should probably back up, but that was almost 1 billion apps. And that's just iPhone, so no offense to Android. There's a lot of... They're picking up the numbers, but still, it's all about what's the white phone, that stuff. I'm so glad you gave, because now I can just do the, refer stuff. Great. It's almost like we planned it, but we didn't. Very happy. So, and that's the number, also a lovely one. It's 1,000 apps that have more than 50,000 users. How about that? So you really need to struggle. How do you get those users? You can get downloads, but then it comes to who's using it. So the storytelling, I go for the other guy. I don't think we can talk about an internet technology business. It's about storytelling without having this guy. And that's all about the white phone. All about the white phone. There's this great video on YouTube by Steve Jobs when he just got back. He'd been fired from Apple, a long story short. He just came back and got a lot of shit because, can I swear here? Sorry. When he came back and he changed the whole business model in Apple and was gonna start doing cooperations with Microsoft and changing the whole thing. And there's this one exceptional line in his talk. He was taking a lot of bashing, so he was answering all the people from Apple and all the users. And what he came down to was that you got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to technology. So it's all about the user experience. Technology is the things that enables that. So you can have all these fantastic, really geeky stuff, But if you don't get that aha moment, that experience that enables me something, what do you have? You want to have those things, I want this, just like your child. Oh, can I, where's my iPad? Even if it's Samsung. So this is very, very important because, I talk to a lot of startups, I meet startups, I advise startups, and mostly they are pretty young men, and they have tech background, and they show me a lot of tech stuff. I say, so what is the product? Who's going to use it, and how do you make this feature to a product? And of course, we can't be Steve Jobs, but it's still something fundamentally in the thinking of Apple. It's about user experience, these things that you do. It's not about technology. So the storytelling, so that's what startups generally think. It's about. So that is mostly about media relations and product launches, because that's what you need, your story. So what is it about? Well, who is it for? What we do? So it's about the eyeballs being different, but it's not only those moments you need it. Oh. But this is actually the first thing. I'm doing what was the senator? I'm just breaking my own speech now. When I'm talking at the same time as I'm drinking and talking, like he gave this American senator. It became a huge viral loop, big story. What was that? He couldn't stop drinking because Obama can talk for an hour without drinking, and then he could speak like 5 minutes and he had to start reaching for the bottle. Amazing. Back to my story about storytelling. Why is it important for startups, and why not just for product launches and media coverage? This is the first time I'm going to mention recruiting and culture, because this is what you need. I have this great idea. I have no money, and it's a crazy idea. But I have this compelling story, and I want you to join me. And it's very important that you get that right. Because recruiting, if you ask any startup, you ask any entrepreneur, seasoned, early, you ask any VC, what's the hardest thing in startups? What's the hardest things? It's about hiring. The biggest mistakes, bad hires. Hiring is so crucial. And culture, this great line, culture will eat your strategy for breakfast. And your company becomes your product. So whatever the team you grow, the culture you grow, that will most likely sell, the whole path for the future. So this is the first thing you need your story for, the storytelling right. This is the second. When you got your team, then you actually you make the products. Then you need the fans and the ambassadors, because you have no money, like startups. Hey, I had 10 pounds. I mean, what do I do? You need to have people engaged. So you need to have that kind of compelling story, and consistent, compelling story that puts white men putting blonde wigs and cheering for your. This is Hamilton. This is Lewis Hamilton. It's a British, of course, Formula 1 driver. I took the picture myself from Monza. It was just fabulous. So things you do for your brand or your idol or your service. I mean, we put stickers because, this is my Foursquare because I'm a Foursquare addict. This is another one I will come back to. See if you will remember that then. So you need people to talk about your brand, talk about your startup, because you have nothing else. And you have 7 billion to fight. And this is also most likely you. You have a business plan and you have a dog. That's basically you go when you start with stuff. When you go fundraising, yeah. So you in the story, there is no investor, no VC who's doesn't love a great story. It's about you. You're selling yourself. It's first you, then the business. So you really need to think about get the story right. And this is actually a quote of an early stage investor, Fred Destin of Atlas Venture, used to be in Europe, now only in Boston, investor in GrabCAD, among others, great companies. So that's what he said. So I usually know within 5 if I want to fund you, within 15 if I want to fund your business. And that is very much in the early stage funding truth. You have to be yourself, be the person, tell a compelling story, but it has to be authentic. You can't just make up this nice story and be a car salesman. You have to transform that own passion or pain you have for the product to a story that people just go, ooh, I want to hear more. Let's have a follow-up meeting. So storytelling, don't underestimate how important it is in fundraising. And all these things are probably before you even have launched for the bigger public. These are the things you need the story for, when you're doing closed beta. Because you're going to start releasing, you're going to need money, you're going to need more users. These are the first things you need. You need the team, you need the first early adopters, and then you need money. You need the story. And then we go to inbound marketing, and what the hell is that? It's a nice word, it's content marketing. Another name for it, maybe. And I guess, well, this is all for Anders and the comedy. I use Steve Martin. So what is inbound marketing? It's basically, how do people find you? I mean, it's about not you doing the great marketing campaigns, it's, how do you get the people in the door? Marketing is about lead generation. Inbound marketing, how do people find me without me doing those direct marketing efforts? Well, it's about keep showing up. And now you have all the means, the whole internet, different mediums. Keep showing up. And going back to Steve Martin, when he started, I always use that one because he wrote a book about his journey. And when he got first time to Tonight Show, he was a stand-up comedian before he did movies. So he came, Tonight Show was the biggest talk show. After one time, no one. After 10 times, people maybe started saying, oh, I've seen you before. Who are you? Ah, I've seen you. So it's the same thing, you just transfer that to tech, when you get to TechCrunch, you get TechCrunched. You get an article on TechCrunch. Yeah, you get a little spike, and then what? You get 10 more, you do stuff. Keep showing up. Another great line for another, oh, that was fast. Did you get to read that? Oh, now we're going really back. First time I do keynotes in 4 years. I used Prezi, and now I thought I'll think this. Repetition. 80% of success is showing up if that disappears, and that was Woody Allen. So basically, you need to be showing up. Pick up that. It's the same thing as pick up the call. Don't waste your moments. You need to go to the meetings. Of course, you need to be selective, but you need to keep showing up in every level. And this is what do you do on internet? Showing up. You make sure your digital profile. You participate. You ship your code. You tell about the story. You be in core. You be helpful. You do what it looks like. And of course, now comes the flames. I found flames on Keynote. Angel list. Who knows about Angel list? Great. For the rest who don't, they call itself Badass Platform for Startups. It's a platform for startups connecting investors, democratizing the whole fundraising, bringing transparency to fundraising, made by Naval and Nevi of Venture Hacks, a great tech blog you should read. So if you're not on Angel List, get on Angel List. Also, come back to fundraising. Why? Because most of the accelerators today, they start using Angel List as a way to submit the what is it called? When you apply to accelerators, so the whole application process is going to be done by Angel List. Already by finding startups, seed camps have started it. So you really make sure that you have a great profile, you're active, and you also be found. So I thought to do some example. Now back to my sticker. What is Kinvey? Kinvey is a mobile backend as a service. What does that mean? Shortening BaaS, a lot of those buzzwords. Yeah, it's a cloud service for any app maker. So if you have a mobile, you're going to do mobile apps, so you have a platform. So it brings all the SDKs, now it's a little tech words, but all the things you need to build mobile apps, partners and third parties. They will take care of the boring stuff, the installations, the caching, the storing, all that stuff. You can be focused on the experience and the front-end stuff. So that's it's a Techstars 2011 company. So I saw when they graduated, and now they're doing great stuff. And what are the APIs, backend, cloud? I mean, what does that have to do with how personal is that? It's basically B2B by B2B2C. There are third-party applications, but they're targeting mobile developers. You saw the almost 1 million apps. Those people who are making, are they going to be more? And everything's going to be mobile. So they inbound marketing when they got more funding, and they really started with it. So have a story, be helpful, and add value. That's one way to say inbound marketing. So what Kinvey did, what they started with the creating value, they did this lovely, amazing infogram of the whole space, competitors, others. This is what it looks like on the internet and on the back-end side. All the services. And this was one of the most downloaded infograph of all VCs and all in the industry. People went nuts. And what do you think people think about Kinvey now? Oh, they probably know what they're doing. They know their space. They know their competition. They understand what they're doing. Probably makes it more, interesting partner, interesting investment. So another flame. This is the founder, Travis Sridhar. And they do a lot of stuff. They go to YouTube, so then you found their Christmas song videos, and you found their Superman videos, and they are being persons and people, because that's about the hiring and the culture. I mean, how tough is the competition to, specifically in Boston or in states, getting techies on board, getting great hirings. Money is the issue. So you need to know you need to show what is your company culture about? Who are we? Why are we your first choice? Why would you work with us? Or why would you partner with us? Why would you supply your API on our platform for our developers? Be personal. And now they're doing the whole inbound marketing, content marketing. So if you go to their blog, which I do, if you're thinking of doing mobile apps and building that stuff, read that first and follow. So now they have like 5 content marketing throughs for app developers. They've been helpful. They're adding value to the community, the ones going to be using. They know who their users are, who's your customer. They even just launched an ebook. They're making ebooks. And they are back in the service. Could be something that you found in, whatever tech conference or similar, nothing for the end user. It could be really, really techy stuff. Which it still is. But it makes it human, it makes it more understandable, it makes it, why do I need it? Does anyone understand why Kinvey would be good for you now if you do mobile apps? Please raise some hands. You don't have to film it. Okay, good. So, I don't know, this is something you've all seen before and heard before probably, the hockey stick. If you're doing startups, you're gonna, very soon come to the, where's your hockey stick? Where's your growth? And that's been topic du jour for the past year. We need growth hackers. I have VCs coming to me. We need, portfolio company, we need growth hackers. You know any good growth hackers? Or, as soon as we get the seed funding, we're going to do growth hacking. I said, okay. It's like, do you know what your product is? I don't know. As soon as we get some money, we're going to do growth. Cool. So, basically, it's like, I want what do you mean, growth hacking? Basically, as we all understand, has marketing to do with, or what does growth hacking have to do with marketing, or marketing with growth hacking? It's because marketing is about lead generation and customer acquisition. Growth hacking is combining that with some developer tools and analytics. So it's basic marketing to do the customer and the conversion optimization, basically. So it's a nice word, and there was actually a year ago, there was a conference, first conference on growth hacking in, of course, the Valley. So it's been kind of this miracle thing. Growth hacking, give me the diet pill, I sit on the sofa, and magic will happen. You just give me the formula. I will get to the Instagram growth, or I will get to the Facebook growth, and things will be smooth, and everything will go viral, naturally. So this is one of the exactly actually what I mentioned just before, everyone is asking about the viral stuff. So we need more viral stuff. Can we make things go viral? Actually, I heard pitches as I asked, the startups, mobile app startups. So, what is your distribution strategy? And I was like, oh, okay, 5. Anders gave me 5. I think I can make it. So, what is your business strategy? I hope it goes viral. And yeah, I hope it goes viral. I said, okay, thanks. And this will work, animate GIF. So this is what people do. This is what you should do when someone gives you like, yeah, I hope, gotta go more viral. You just give a thumbs up. Running a startup, Tumblr, go there. It's a lot of comedy moments if you're running a startup, so you get this, I'm not the only one doing miserable stuff. Because growth hacking, unless you know what your product is, it really doesn't help pouring water in a leaking bucket. Because if you know what the growth metrics are, if you don't know what delights your customers, if you don't know who your user is, you can start doing a lot of growth hacking, metrics and things, buying traffic and all that stuff. I mean, are they going to stick? No. Money not well spent, or the time well spent. And you also will alienate your users, the ones you already have. And this is Shamat. His last name is Shamat Palibahiptia. I hope I get it right. Extremely important. He should know, because he was one of the growth team and product team at Facebook who took Facebook to 1 billion users. So I really don't doubt him, and it's a great, you should watch that video instead of my video. It's about, he spoke at the Growth Hackers conference, and I can just agree with everything he said. Watching like 250 pitches a year and doing look at my app and do my mobile stuff and all that stuff. What is it? So he mentioned 3 very important things about growth hacking. It is exactly what it is. It's really elegant understanding of your core product value. What is it that your product does? Who is your user? It's as simple as that. You have to start. No magic pill. And now we come back to the culture and hiring. You just have to eliminate all ego culture. It's like, I know how this is done, we had these frameworks, and I have this gut feeling. So it's bullshit. Just you measure, you try, test, and you do it again. It's like, and you have to, if you don't have that culture, then you probably, in the team, how are you going to do that? There's going to be just ego, and you're going to spend money and do weird stuff. So keep it simple. Simple framework. What is marketing growth, the growth hacking about? It's about user acquisition. It's about activation. How do you get them inside in the lovely kid, what was it, haircut store? No, hairdresser, what are they called? Hairdressers. Yeah. I wish we had that. That was like, God, why didn't we have that when I was little? This is so brilliant, so brilliant. And then you need to keep them engaged. You need to keep them inside that hairdresser store, with the stuff, and keep coming back. That's the viral thing. Why do you think the kid's going to come back? Because all the stuff inside, and it probably will go viral in the kindergarten or at school, hey, where did you get your haircut? Did you have my magic tree stuff there? So it's those simple things. Get customer in front of the door, make it nice, and do whatever you need. And those are metrics. By the way, before I go, we have the aha moment, and then when we deal with core product value as often as possible. Then you can turn off whatever viral you think you do. And don't worry, in the end of this, there are lots of links. So everything that I mentioned here, you will find. They will be on core and all the great blogs and stuff, so you can get what are the best ways. And this is also there. So you have 91, if you're doing e-commerce, so there we go, infographics, 91-point checklist. How to optimize. Am I out of time? I'm almost done. But look at the first thing. Know your customers. You have 95 points to optimize, but you got to know your customer. So, and now we come to recap. So if you forgot, though that was my problem, your solution. So back to the nobody cares, being engaging, stand out. Exactly what Jeff said before. So this is actually the recapping, which if we don't have time anymore, then we know. Storytelling, not just about product launches, You need it for culture and hiring, and more importantly also for fundraising. Inbound marketing, keep showing up, just like Woody Allen and Steve Martin did. Add value, do the infographics, help your users. And don't talk about yourself. It's the most important thing. It's not about me. We understand that if you know stuff that adds value, you're probably a smart person. You don't have to tell you that you're a smart person. Or your service is the best ever. And growth hacking, by Shama, don't believe the hype. You just have to keep working, understand what it is that you do, what delights your customers, and then turn those viral coefficients. And tomorrow, probably the workshop will be more hands-on. Email, subscriptions, titles, conversion, download pages, thousands of ways to do that. But you have to know your customer first. Because you're awesome, and be awesome. Be someone who stands out. Don't fool and trick people. And then discuss thank you. Yay. There we have. You will find it online. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Like I mentioned, Paula is a brilliant mentor, so if you have any specific questions about your startups, about storytelling, inbound marketing, or growth hacking, now is a good time to ask.
Thank you.
If not, I have a question.
Yes, please, open up for questions, yes.
On storytelling, and think about your questions on these themes. Because I've been in a position as a consultant for many startups who just had a product idea and who don't have any personal relation to the problem they're solving. They just have a brilliant idea for a web product or an app. So they don't have a story. So where do you, going back to your first point about storytelling, what's the method to come to a story if you don't really have a story?
Well, I would first, even if it's about the story or not, I would suggest you go and talk to the users, those people you think if it's not your personal pain, it's probably someone's pain, my problem and my problem, your solution. So if you talk enough to the people you think you're solving problem for, I think you will come to the story because they will be telling heartfelt, stories about their problems, what they gone through, or how they solving. So I think then the early users, the ones will, they will give you the story if you don't have the personal pain for that. It's not the problem, that's what you asked, if it's not the problem that you personally have.
If all you have is, if all you have is an idea for an app, and I mean, some startups have dramatic stories, like Apple has a dramatic story, several stories. Other companies have, the founder of Foursquare had lots of stories because it was his personal problem of, he didn't know where his friends were, so that's why he created Foursquare. Some people just have a startup idea, so what do you do if you're in that position?
Yes, and also go back to, story, it's not nothing that just comes in a day. I mean, it's built over the years and you will refine it also. So, of course, you will not have the perfect story, but you need to, in the beginning, have an understanding, why would this be interesting for someone else than me? And then talk to those users. Find those who, you have to have someone you would be selling to, or have your first testers. So you have to talk to people. Unfortunately, you have to get out of the house and talk to people, and then we'll build story around that. I don't know, you can't just start Googling and then make up stuff, because then it becomes the make-up story, and there's no soul. And then you go to, with your business plan and your dog and say, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, yeah, well, it's not compelling, it's not trustworthy, it has to be authentic. So then you said, yeah, I talked to 50 people, all these teachers or doctors or whatever, whatever this app is, or the surfers, like with the wind stuff. They will tell you stories why they would solve their problem and how awesome it would be, and then you can have that as a story.
Yeah. Okay. So to manufacture facts that give you a story if you don't have a story.
Yeah, because you have to be authentic. It needs to be trustworthy.
Question? Good answer. Sorry, bad question maybe.
No, it was excellent question. Because of course I forgot that. So yeah.
Any more from the audience, please?
Everyone wants coffee, and then you can be. I'm very approachable.
Unlike Finns, Estonians ask a lot of questions.
Yes, we are very.
We are also very hot-boiled, hot-blooded,
social people. So
there's a question from there, and then there's a mic. If you just wait for the mic, so the people at homes hear the question as well.
Okay, it's a question about apps. And you mentioned retention rate.
Yes.
Like you should not only get downloads, because downloads doesn't mean active users. And you need to get customers which stay and use your app. So what do you think are the industry rates which you see like normal retention? Because you never get 100% retention. It's okay to lose some of the guys who downloaded the app.
Yeah, I wish I could give you some kind of number, but I don't have it. I would have to Google it, like seriously. Retention, I mean, it's also what do you mean retention? So that's also what is inbuilt, you know, for the service. I mean, is it an app you use daily, or is it just, you know, sometime? How do you use the app? So unfortunately, I can't give you that exact number. I would have to Google it and ask someone more smarter than me in the business. But generally, it's to come back to those, you know, downloads and retention and the hockey stick and stuff. So don't try to manufacture those things. It's pretty easy. It's very cheap to buy that kind of stuff. But specifically if you're fundraising, because the smart VCs, they would see definitely it's called vanity metrics. Don't fall for that. So you need to actually, whatever, if there's a little engagement, even if it's just a little, you just like have to go for that and be very honest and iterate around that instead of just buying traffic, because the ones who will buy your, you know, vanity metrics map, they will not be good investors either for you. Just another, you know, tag along there.
Any more questions? I'll ask another one. I loved your.
Great.
For several reasons, I liked your Steve Martin quote about appearing in the Daily Show. And so, what is a startup to do to, like, if you haven't even gotten the first spike, if you haven't even been on the TV show once, or haven't got the TechCrunch article once, what are the best methods in your or techniques or ways, in your view, to get like your first big press mention? And then how do you get the second one and the third one? So what works?
Today we live infographics. So that is, I mean, specifically with media relations, since I come from the media industry, I understand what ticks journalists and how journalism works today. They have very little money, very little budget, very little time, and they would really expect you to do their work. So just don't, you know, whenever you send stuff to them, it's not like, oh, then they go researching. You know, you just give them a story or something to write about. That's something that is useful for their audience, which infographics has been just superb. And now Infogram, you know, from your fellow country, Latvia, they just had 500,000 infograms published. And that's exactly what Kinvey did with the backend as a service. I mean, you create content automatically for the media industry, and you add value to the others. I mean, as soon as that goes around, that will be published, and then you got your first spike. So it's something that adds value and is helpful to someone else. And specifically, if you can, you know, create content for the media, just do their job. Basically, that's what you have to do, and you will get.
One last question.
Okay. We're warming up here, so no coffee for you. We're going to go on Q&A session. I'll be here all day, all night, and even might have some time tomorrow. Hello. I don't know. But
I have a question about storytelling. We are building everything globally now.
Yes.
So should our story have to be different in different countries or regions? In Japan or Western countries or Africa?
Well, first of all, I think it depends on what kind of products you have, because if you're doing, say, something on a Facebook platform that is to, you know, increase your Facebook page, deliver something, why would that need to be different, you know, in a broader sense? Then again, culture, as we all know, it's different everywhere. There's different ways to approach and talk to people and all that stuff. So definitely, you should be aware. And also, when you look, you know, watch the Shamat's growth hacking from the growth hacking conference, the video, he talks about when they launched in Asia. He goes just, you know, regarding Facebook, they can't just send on, you know, MBA and whatever who's good doing metrics and send there and say, hey, let's launch Asia. No, you got to get the local person understanding, you know, the language and traditions and culture. Because in Asia, they needed blood type on Facebook. you know, your personal details. And it's like, how would you as a white guy from Valley understand that? I mean, just as an example. So to your question, yes, you should have an understanding. Then it depends, of course, on your product, how generic and universal problem you're solving. But the communication should always be local and direct.
I would advise you to look up Paula during the break and tell what your startup is, and then get a custom-made answer to you, because there's no one-size-fits-all.
Yes, thanks.
So thank you, Paula.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
I would like basil or coxswain or tomato.
What do I?
So this is beauty plants. This is basil, and this is a mini tomato.
Well, I love basil because I'm
basil it is. So, and I would be shooting myself in the leg and in the head if
is
after storytelling session. Sorry, that's not basil.
I am awake. So this is what I want.
Shooting myself in the leg if I didn't tell you a good story. So the founder of We Can Grow is an Estonian guy who read that NASA can grow plants in space. And he also read that people throw away billions of dollars of worth of home plants every year in America because they mismanage them. So then he started researching some NASA technologies and came up with We Can Grow as a result. There's nanomaterial, which is the soil of the plant. There's software and sensors, and these make it very easy for you to grow plants. Was that a good story?
Amazing story. I will bring it to my Mars expedition because I have problems keeping basil alive.
It's for your kitchen and living room.
I'm the perfect target group.